Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to a new video. Welcome back to a little bit of an update. A few things have happened. Been a little bit of a slow week, to be honest. Apart from Omar Barada joining Manchester United, which has already been covered. I covered it over on City Extra, so I didn't feel the need to cover it on here. But regardless, there has still been a little bit of news. A little bit of news on Erling Haaland, John Stones, etc. with the warm weather training happening. And also a little bit of transfer news on the beloved Kalvin Phillips. Before I get into those two main topics, if you would please do me a massive favour and like this video. Really helps the channel out. And subscribe if you are new. I know I said there would be a live stream the other night, but of course Omar Barada decided to dip and go to the rags. So that didn't happen, but I believe he has told me he has a free night tonight as you're watching this video as it comes out. So please turn the notification bell on. Come and join us if a stream happens. Again, turn your notification bell on so you know exactly when, because I can't give you an exact time right now. Right. On to the video. Quick couple of topics. Little bit of discussion. Of course, as you have maybe seen, training. Warm weather training. Guess who's back? There's two people who are back. Two main characters who are back. For obviously... First one being John Stones. How much of that training session he went through, I still do not know. So I'm not really going to spend too much time talking about him. But the one person I do want to talk about who returned to training is the main man, the big fella, Erling Haaland. He has returned to training. And according to Paul Hurst, Erling Haaland completed Man City's full training session alongside his teammates in Abu Dhabi on Monday without suffering any pain to his foot. I believe there's another tweet here from Paul Hurst as well. Yeah, Man City are taking it steady with Erling Haaland's rehabilitation, and he is unlikely to feature in the FA Cup against Tottenham. However, Haaland could come into Pep Guardiola's thinking for Burnley in the Premier League at the end of the month. That's kind of where we're at the moment. I do doubt very much that he'll be involved against Tottenham, maybe on the bench. We spoke about that towards the end of the stream. The last stream on City Extra, yeah, I don't think any of us expect him to start. Probably don't expect him to play, but I'd hope he'd be on the bench, be a bit of a boost. But that Burnley game is the one that I'd be targeting for him getting some minutes. But he's very good to hear that he has done a full session, not just part of a session. He's done a full session, and there's no pain anymore. The pain's gone. That's a very good sign. The injury was clearly worse than we first thought it was, because he's been out for a lot longer than anyone really anticipated. So it's good that he's completed a pain-free session and a full session being the main one I was looking out for, because a lot of the times when you're coming back from an injury you only do part of a session or maybe a solo training session, but he's done a full one, which is encouraging. And I just think in general it's just a massive boost. I think Alvarez is sort of dipped a little bit. He's still contributing, getting goals, but I think his overall performances are just dipping slightly. I think the demands just are astronomically high. So I think it'd do good to have Haaland back, and it gives a boost to the other players as well, because to see him coming back and they go, right, let's kick on now, let's crack on, and let's go for this 4 in a row. Got a treble to defend, of course, against Tottenham. People will wait and see how that one goes. I'm not really looking forward to it, but on from that, Burnley and onwards in the Premier League, yeah, why not? Give us a big boost. We should hopefully by then have the main spine of the team that we've been missing this season. Last season you have your John Stones and your Rodri and all these players in the spine of the team we just haven't had available at the same time. One, we've got Kevin De Bruyne back, and Haaland's been out injured, and Stones has been out injured, and Rodri gets suspended, Stones comes back. As soon as Rodri gets back, Stones is injured again. You know what I mean? So it's a bit up and down. Glad to have him back. Hopefully we'll have a fully fit squad soon. Kosakanji, I think, is the only person who didn't train, but encouraging signs for the rest of the season. Now, on to the transfer news of the video, and it's about Kalvin Phillips. We all love a bit of Kalvin Phillips, don't we? So, according to Alan Nixon on Twitter, breaking, Kalvin Phillips will complete his loan switch to West Ham from Man City shortly. West Ham will pay his wages and a bonus, while there is currently no deal in place to make a move permanent. Another piece from Mail Sport: Man City were willing to loan Kalvin Phillips out last summer amid interest from Liverpool, among others, when the loan fee was believed to be about £10 million. And a final piece from Jacob Steinberg: West Ham and Man City are still in talks over a loan move for Kalvin Phillips. A deal is expected to go through if Man City lower their demands over the loan fee, with the two clubs still apart on that figure. So, the last sort of update we had on Kalvin Phillips was it was looking like he was going to stay because nobody was going to pay the £6 or £7 million that City wanted in a loan fee, and nobody was willing to commit to a obligation to buy, not an option, an obligation to buy. Seems like something has been tabled and we're working something out with West Ham. The 10 million in the summer, obviously it's dipped to 6 or 7 because it's January. It's only a shorter term loan, so I think maybe 4 or 5 million you may have a deal with West Ham. And it's interesting to me because there's no reason for City to budge on their valuation of Kalvin Phillips, on what their terms are for the deal, simply because of factors like his contract isn't running out and we're not going to, or it doesn't look like we're going to sign a replacement in January, so there's no real reason for us to feel pressured to let him go in January. So I'm not sure why we would budge. But then on the other hand, you look at West Ham and we've been heavily linked to Lucas Paqueta. And, you know, it kind of springs alarm bells. You put 2 and 2 together, you think we do a nice for West Ham, we let them take Kalvin Phillips on loan, we don't pressure them into having an obligation to buy, we lower the loan fee a little bit, we do them a nice, they get the player, and he plays well. Maybe we throw in a discount or we send him their way when we go and sign Paqueta in the summer. That could be something that, you know, City might be playing the long game here. That might be a plan, whereas if Kalvin Phillips does well, we can sweeten the deal for Paqueta by saying, you know, discount on Phillips, or we'll send Phillips your way in the deal if we still want to sign Paqueta, which I believe we still do want to sign a forward or midfield player. Maybe not forward, but you know, a wing player or a midfielder or someone who can play in both of those positions. I still believe City want to sign one because we've been linked with a few names: Pedro Neto, Michael Olise, Wirtz, Paqueta. So sending Kalvin Phillips on loan to West Ham, lowering our demands, and, you know, not putting that forced buy option in there in the summer. You know, we could do it nice with West Ham, and maybe they realise that, and that can be something that happens in the summer. And if that happens, then I'm all for this move. Personally, I'm all for the move anyway, to be honest. I think Kalvin Phillips, and just for City in general, I think it suits both parties for there to be a parting of ways. I don't think it's good for Kalvin Phillips to just sit here for another 6 months when there's an international tournament around the corner. I think he'd be picked regardless, to be honest, because we all know who the manager is. But that's besides the point. He still needs footballing gearing up for that tournament. Otherwise, he'll just sit on the bench. So it's good for him. It's good for us because we're not going to use him. So it's just a waste, really, of what I still believe is a good player, for one. We're still paying his wages, so if we can get West Ham to pay his wages, that'll be nice as well. But overall, again, good for both parties. I hope this deal goes through, and I do genuinely believe that wherever Kalvin Phillips goes, he'll be a success. I still really do think there's a player in there. You know, I can be proved wrong, but I still truly believe that he's good, and it just hasn't worked out here due to, you know, some factors that are and aren't his fault, really. The demand to play at this club is astronomically high. The level is through the roof. And it's no shame to not meet that level, because you have to be like some of the elite to make it at, you know, this level that we're currently operating at. So it's no shame on Kalvin Phillips, but it's a shame it hasn't worked out. Shame. That's it from me. Those are the 2 updates. Obviously, Erling Haaland. Let me know how excited you are for him to be back, and Kalvin Phillips as well. The question on the screen is West Ham a good move? Do let me know if it's a good move, whether you want to see this happen. Whether there are any of you out of there that want to see him stay, or maybe if he plays well, see him stay in the summer. That would be an opinion. Personally, I think he needs to go in the summer permanently, but a loan for now is good for me. Thanks very much for watching. On your way out, if you could do me a massive favour and like this video, really helps us out on the channel, and subscribe if you are new, trying to reach 7k as quickly as possible. Growth has been good. Live streams are coming, like I said, tonight, hopefully. There will be a live stream, you know, late night, 10, 11 o'clock, something around that time, 10, 11 o'clock UK time, that is. Turn your notification bell on so you don't miss it. Come join us as we chat with whatever happens during the day. Of course, there is a Carabao Cup semi-final on tonight. I forget which one, but I believe that is happening, so maybe we talk about that in there. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.